Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuca. Thanks so much for being here. Tuesday, August 26th. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, just after 4 p.m. or right at 4 p.m., have announced all their cuts in their initial 53-man roster. I have not even fully looked and digested this while recording. I'm going through this with y'all, so it's going to be a lot of fun here. So, a long list of players that have been waived, released, placed on injured reserve, right? All right. So, players that have been waived by the Jacksonville Jaguars: tight end Sean Bowman, wide receiver Chandler Brayboy, wide receiver Cam Camper, defensive lineman James Carpenter, offensive lineman Jerome Carvin, defensive end Miles Cole, linebacker Branson Combs, tight end John Copenhaver, defensive lineman Ethan Downs, offensive lineman Javon Foster, 4th round pick last year, running back Kevin Harris, quarterback Seth Hennigan, tight end Patrick Herbert, running back Jaquindon Jackson, defensive tackle Jordan Jefferson, defensive tackle Tyler Lacey, that's a big one right there, wide receiver Darius Lassiter, offensive lineman Ricky Lee, cornerback Kenny H. Lovely, defensive back Jabbar Muhammad, linebacker Chad Muma, cornerback DeAndre Prince, 2 Trent Baalke draft picks. We talked about that. DL Kiwi Rose, defensive back Cameron Silman Craig, we've already looked at that one as well. Wide receiver Dorian Singer, defensive back Danico Slaughter, defensive back Aiden White, offensive lineman Sal Wormley. Waived with an injury designation, wide receiver Eli Pankall. Released, players not subject to waivers. They will be available immediately on free agency. Offensive lineman Tremaine Ankrum, wide receiver Trenton Irwin, tight end Quentin Morris. I thought Morris had a chance to make this roster. Safety Daniel Thomas, quarterback John Wolford, placed on IR, designated to return, linebacker Jalen McLeod, placed on IR, not designated to return, defensive back Caleb Ransaw. That's a big one right there. So that means your initial 53, which is going to change. Probably going to change within the next 24 hours because the Jaguars are now going to be looking at other teams' releases and waves and potentially adding some of those players. So really appreciate y'all being here once again. If you enjoy the content here, please like and subscribe. Helps us out a ton. Let me know what you think about the players the Jaguars have moved on from in the comment section below. And now we'll run through the 53 quarterback, Trevor Lawrence and Nick Mullins. So they did this, their press release, and it's a cool graphic, but they did it in number order. So Nick Mullins is the first quarterback listed, but that's because he is number 14 and Trevor Lawrence is number 16. So you've got Trevor Lawrence, Nick Mullins. Running backs, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Bashal Tutenley, Quint Allen Jr. All of that is standard. That's exactly what we expected here, right? Okay, you have wide receivers, De'Ami Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, Travis Hunter, Austin Trammell made the 53. Now, Austin Trammell, not a big surprise that he's on the initial 53, and that is 5 receivers on the team. Also not a surprise because I just don't think they had 6 guys they felt comfortable with. I do think that Joshua Cephas was going to probably make the football team. He got injured, so it is what it is. They waived him with an injury designation. We don't know exactly how that would have ended up playing out. But Austin Trammell is a guy who kind of a slot receiver type, prototype, has some special teams value, has worked with the Jaguars staff before in LA as a receiver there, has played games there. I don't know that Austin Trammell will definitely be on this roster moving forward, but he is right now. De'Ami Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, Travis Hunter. Those are the 4 you knew for sure. Austin Trammell there as well. The Jaguars, according to Sean Payton, were very interested in trading for Devon Vele, who ended up going to the Saints. I don't know that the Jaguars are done at wide receiver. Tight ends, Hunter Long, Britton Strange, Johnny Munt. I expected Quentin Morris to make the team, so that's a pretty big deal right there. That's a pretty big deal. Offensive line, Chuma Edoga, Jonah Monheim, Wyatt Milam, Patrick McCary, Cole Van Lannon, Walker Little, Robert Hainsey, Ezra Cleveland, Anton Harrison. So these are the names that I had. I did not know if Cole Van Lannon would be ready for the regular season. And apparently he will be. So, he missed most of training camp with an injury. It looks like they now feel he's going to be ready to be on at least on the 53, if not active on game day, at least be on the 53. So Cole Van Lannon, his injury is in a place to where they don't feel like they need to place him on IR or anything like that. So obviously they traded Fred Johnson. Everything else is pretty chalky here, right? You have your 5 starters. You have Chuma Edoga, a key backup. Jonah Monheim, a key backup. Wyatt Milam, they had said, was week to week, so he's obviously in a place too where they don't feel like they have to place him on IR. Those are 3 key backups along with Cole Van Lanen. And then you have Patrick McCary starting right guard right now. Walker Little starting left tackle. Robert Hainsey starting center. Ezra Cleveland starting left guard. Anton Harrison starting right tackle. Defensively, haven't even seen this yet. Defensive line, okay? Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Devon Hamilton, DeJuan Smoot, Colin Saunders, Austin Johnson, Emmanuel Ogbah, Eric Armstead, Danny Strigow, Mason Smith, BJ Green. So Mia tweeted this out that Strigow and Green were at practice today. So it's really cool to see them make the team. I think Green was just undeniably needed to be on the team, and I talked with y'all about that earlier. Strigow is someone who had a little bit more ups and downs, but I think they really like the way he plays the game. Plays full effort, full focus all the time, and has enough talent, in my opinion, to be a quality depth player in the NFL. So all those guys are absolutely expected. The one where you didn't know if he might make the team or not was Tyler Lacey. He did not make the team. So nothing else a big surprise there. Obviously, Jordan Jefferson, Miles Cole, a couple Trent Baalke draft picks gone there. Linebackers, Devin Lloyd, Foye Oluokun, Ventrell Miller, Jack Kaiser, Yasir Abdullah, Dennis Gardeck. That's also how I had that group playing out. Excuse me, I didn't have Yasir Abdullah making the team. I did not know if he was going to make the team or not. He did make the team, so good for him. Again, this is the initial 53, not the final 53. There can be movement at a lot of different spots, and we'll see how that continues to play out. But we'll continue rolling through the defense here. The safeties, Darnell Savage, Rayon Lane, Antonio Johnson, Eric Murray, Andrew Wingard. So yeah, Savage, Lane, Johnson, Murray, Wingard. That is kind of what was expected after the Daniel Thomas move was announced there. And then, of course, your rookie third-round pick, Caleb Ransaw, having to go on injured reserve. That sounds like he's going to be done for the year, which is really unfortunate. Cornerbacks, Jordan Lewis, Tyson Campbell, Travis Hunter, all still listed at corner. Christian Braswell, Jarian Jones, Buster Brown. So 2 big injury things here is that Buster Brown, Monteric Brown, and Cole Van Lanen do not have to start the season on IR. So those guys are going to be ready. And I tweeted out earlier today, if Monteric Buster Brown is not healthy to start the season, I expected the Jaguars to potentially go sign a corner that was either waived or released by another team, claim or sign another corner. But it appears as if Buster Brown will be ready at some point early enough in the regular season or before the regular season that they didn't feel the need to place him on injured reserve. And same thing with Cole Van Lanen. That's very good news for your Jaguars. And then when it comes to the specialists, there's no news, right? Logan Cook, Cam Little, Ross Matisic, the 3 best specialists, the best trio of specialists in the league, in my opinion. So not a ton of major surprises here. I think maybe Chad Muma was a surprise to some people on the outside looking in, but we talked about that before. Not a surprise to me at all, just based on the fact that they've been heavily investing at the linebacker position. They drafted Jack Kaiser this year. They have Foye, they have Devin, they have Ventrell. They also have the the kind of hybrid position now at linebacker that's in between a linebacker off ball and on the ball, and Yasir Abdullah and Dennis Gardeck filling that spot right now as Jalen McLeod is on injured reserve to start the season. I think if you look at the Jaguars defensive front group, interior defensive line, that was one of the major concerns I had just a couple weeks ago. But you've now seen Eric Armstead get on the field. You've seen Mason Smith get on the field. What you have in Devon Hamilton. Colin Saunders and Austin Johnson added to the room in the last month, I think is a big deal. And then you also have guys that can kick inside and rush on pass rush downs. A lot of these guys have the versatility to do that. So I don't necessarily think the interior of the Jaguars defensive line projects to be wonderful, But there is upside for that defensive line as a whole to potentially be very good, and the front seven as well. And really, the defense is going to be heavily dependent on veteran players playing smart football, understanding the scheme at a high level, how they're trying to execute, how teams are trying to attack them. That's really going to be a lot of the defense success or lack of success is going to be on veterans like Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, Andrew Wingard. These guys on the back end are going to have really big roles. And so that's going to be, especially in the secondary, the key there is going to be veterans playing smart football, understanding their assignments and communicating, because they do not have one of the more talented secondaries overall right now. Obviously, I think Jordan Lewis is a very good nickel. I think Tyson Campbell is a good outside starting cornerback when healthy. And Travis Hunter is another key, right? How much is he playing out there at cornerback for the Jaguars is going to be a pretty big deal. So Jarian Jones, Christian Braswell, Monteric Brown are kind of your three key backups at corner. And I like that group. Christian Braswell played well enough to have a roster spot. Jarian Jones and Buster Brown are both high quality depth. So they're in a pretty good spot overall with the depth there. I think their depth at safety is good, even if I don't feel great about the starters necessarily. I feel good at linebacker with Foye and Devin and Ventrell coming in. Jack Kaiser maybe pushing for some time. Abdullah and Gardeck in those hybrid roles. I really like that BJ Green and Danny Strigow made the team. That's a lot of fun. So this is a roster that has been completely overturned. And I say completely, that's a little bit hyperbole, but massively overturned. I believe over half of the 53 last year is no longer here. You still have core pieces. You still have your quarterback, obviously, a couple running backs, Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington. You still have Brenton Strange. You still have your tackles. Now, Walker Little wasn't a starting tackle last year entering the season, but you still have Anton, you still have Walker, you still have Ezra Cleveland. But a lot of change, a lot of turnover on the offensive side and on the defensive side. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this young coaching staff, this young organization handles 2025. Like, what are the goals? I think the goal needs to be to make the playoffs. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to do that with the amount of capital they've invested in this roster, with the coaching that they believe they have and that I believe they have, especially on the offensive side of the ball, the star power they have at receiver, the explosiveness this offense should be able to show. Yeah, I think that this should be a playoff team. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.